And welcome to Scotty Kilmer Live Podcast, where I use my 52 years of working on cars. Answer all your car questions. Over 1 billion people have watched my YouTube videos. I'm here to help everybody. No strings attached. No advertising BS. Just me telling you the truth about cars. Remember, during the show, ask your questions on a live chat on YouTube Live. I pick the best ones and answer them. First question is Louis B. And Louis says, rev up your engines. Scotty, my friend, gave me a 2013 Chevrolet Cruze LT. Is it a good vehicle? Is it reliable? No, it's a piece of junk, but you got it for nothing. What the heck? What do they say? Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. You got it for nothing. Drive it. I got a customer who's got a Cruze, and it's such a pile of crap. He's gone through 3 automatic transmissions already. Now, they're all fixed under warranty, but you tried to get money back under the lemon law, and all they gave him was like $2,500. They admitted it was crappy, but only $2,500 worth. He now has a picture of Mickey Mouse he has on the back window to show people that it's a Mickey Mouse car. So, no, they're horrible cars, but you got it for nothing, so what the heck? Drive it around. Something goes wrong with it, junk the stupid thing. Amlosh USA says, Scotty, I have a 2013 Volkswagen Passat TDI 6-speed manual. It's been running fine since January when we replaced the heater core. Economy has improved to 45 miles per gallon of diesel. Yeah, you know, the Volkswagen diesels, they're good engines. Volkswagen makes very good diesel engines. Now, they did cheat on that emissions scandal where they actually ran better, but they polluted more. And then when you had the test, the machine knew it was being tested, so it went into a different software just for the test. And then went back to more polluting, but runs better when you were driving the thing around. But it's still a Volkswagen. As it ages, plastic crap will break. The air conditioner will break. But those diesels, if you want to buy a Volkswagen, get a standard transmission diesel, they can last a long time. And they get really good gas mileage. But they're still diesels. They smell. They have smelly exhaust. Super Badass Moto says, hey, Scotty, is a 2003 Silverado 1500 a good truck for my first vehicle? Around $2,000. Well, if it runs good, what the heck? I'm not a GM fan, but back then, 17 years ago, they made a lot better vehicles than they make today. I got customers with 99s, 2000, 2003 Silverados. They're still running. They're happy with them. They're kind of gas hogs. After usually 160, 170,000 miles of trannies go out and you put a rebuilt transmission in them. But they were better built. I would never advise you to buy a new one, period. But those old ones, if they were taken care of, and for $2,000, if it runs and shifts okay, decent buy. Tyler 40 says, Scotty, what do you think of the 2013 Ford Fusion 2.4 with 80,000 miles to the original owner asking $4,200? All right, they're decent vehicles. The Fusions, they call them Fusion because that's when Ford owned part of Volvo, and they fused some of the Volvo technology for ride and safety. And 80,000 miles, 7 years old. He's asking $4,200. I'd offer him $3,000 and then see how low the guy'd go. And if you really liked it and the mechanic checked it out, I always have a guy like me, a real mechanic, check him out first. Go ahead and buy it. But I'd pay less. I pay less than $4,200. They don't make them anymore. Ford doesn't make cars anymore. They make the Mustang and trucks, so you don't ever pay much for vehicles they don't make anymore. Dominic Hadley says, Scotty, I absolutely love your stuff. I'm from the UK and looking to buy an 80s or 90s American sedan, Cadillac Fleetwood or Chevrolet Caprice. What's your recommendation? I'd go Caprice on that one. The Cadillacs aren't that well made, and they haven't been for a long time. The 80s and 90s, they actually made a lot of junk. The Chevy Caprice back then, it could be okay, you know, as long as you can get parts for them. Check parts availability, what they cost in England, because it's different than here in the States. But yeah, the Caprice, I'd go Ford. You know, if they have parts for Fords, get a Ford. They're easier to get parts for older cars, and they tend to hold up a little bit better too. And in Shannon Rodella said, afternoon, I bought a 2013 Toyota Sienna with 93,000 miles. I called the Toyota dealership, changed the transmission fluid. I was told it's a sealed unit, it's a lifetime fluid. What should I do? Go somewhere else like me. They're giving you a line of BS. They're not sealed transmissions. They're not like the old ones. They don't have a dipstick, but they got drain plugs and fill plugs, and you can research how to change them. I have videos on other Toyotas that I do. You can easily change the stuff yourself by taking the drain bolt off, drain it in a pan, measuring exactly how many quarts come out. If 3.7 quarts come out, then you pour 3.7 quarts back on. Use the Toyota fluid because they're really designed for them. And do it yourself. Don't listen to them. You know, the BS that people give these days, they just want to sell you cars. Scott Kirchmer said, Scotty, does AT205 resale work on a timing cover leak 2005 Corolla? It only works on oil seals. Oil seals are round. They have rubber lips. Inside the rubber lip, there's a spring that holds it on. You put the AT205 reseal, the rubber lip gets rejuvenated, the spring holds it on. Voila. But for anything like a gasket, for a timing cover gasket or valve cover gaskets, it does absolutely nothing. It doesn't help them. It's only for oil seal rubbers, to rejuvenate the rubber. They won't do anything for a gasket. John Doe says, what's your opinion on the 2007 Dodge Grand Caravans? Okay, Dodge Caravan, one of the worst vans ever made. The joke goes, how come you can fit 8 people in a Caravan? The answer is because 7 of them get out and push while the 8th guy steers the thing down the road to the next garage. They don't make them anymore. I don't know how they made them as long as they did. They sold a lot of them. They were poorly made, but Americans are weird, and the soccer moms wanted cup holders and room to take the kids to the soccer game. I had a customer who bought 7 of them. They kept breaking. I said, why on earth are you buying the 7th one when you bought 6 and they were junk? My wife likes it. I'm not arguing with her. He was a lawyer, so he bought one. But he was smart enough. The last one, he bought an extended warranty, and he brought it to me used. Say, I'm going to buy this. Tell me what you think. And I said, well, the air conditioner's going to go out. He says, well, I'm buying this extended warranty. It says it fixes it. He did. About a month later, the AC compressor broke, but he got it fixed under the warranty. So what the heck? But they're junk. Absolute piles of garbage. Sienna says, is Nissan car a good brand? Well, they used to be Datsun. They were great cars. Then they were Nissan. They were still good cars. Then, in the year 2000, Renault took over Nissan, and it started to go downhill. Now, 2001, 2, 3, sometimes they were still okay, but anything in the last 15 years or so, they make a lot of junk. Don't buy them anymore. You can see now they're on the verge of bankruptcy. Renault's on the verge of bankruptcy. Not a smart merger, to say the least. Robinson Progress says, Scotty, I've noticed a hole in the left front fender liner. Should I be worried about salty snow getting inside and rust everything out? Not really. Those things are not sealed, thermostatically sealed. It's a cover, but salt water gets around them, up and under them. They're not tightly sealed in or anything. They're just clipped on with plastic bolts and stuff, and water gets through them. It's more for show than anything else. Don't worry about it. I mean, if you care and there's a hole, you could always get a piece of plastic, stick it on, and use some silicone RTV and let it sit overnight, and it'll stay on, and it won't. But they really do not do all that much. MTB Meteor says, our Kawasaki Z800 is good bikes. Yeah, Kawasaki's makes great motorcycles. Great motorcycle company. They started out making copies of British 650 BSAs, and then they got better and better and better. They make screaming race bikes. The Japanese are really top-notch on speed bikes. After World War II, the Japanese engineers weren't allowed to make fighter planes and stuff, so instead they went into making motorcycles. And a lot of their bikes, the reason they can go 200 miles an hour is because they designed the body like the wing of an airplane. They found when you go that fast, it's more important aerodynamics than anything else. So that's why the jet bikes are all aerodynamic looking when they're the real fast one, because they're more like the wing on a jet airplane. They know what they're doing. A lot of people buy them, don't know how to drive them, kill themselves because they're very powerful. Don't go out and buy one if you're just a kid and you think, oh, wow, I'm going to go, that fast, you're going to kill yourself. Start on something with a lot less horsepower. Jack Walker says, Scotty, our 2014 Nissan Murano SUV is reliable. Well, when they're brand new, they're pretty reliable. As they age, they're not so much. They're the type of vehicle that if you want a cheap vehicle and you can get a good deal on one, they're usually good for 100, 120,000 miles. Then things start to fall apart. So if you're like me and you're cheap, you don't want to buy one of those. You want a Toyota or a Honda. But if you can get one of those cheap with less than 100,000 miles, it can be an okay knockaround vehicle. You're going to get one of those for probably 1/3 to 1/4 of what you're going to have to pay for a Toyota or a Lexus SUV because they're such better made ones. Everybody knows it. James Self says, Scotty, do you run big fan in front of the vehicle when charging AC? I do when it's hot outside. Here it gets over 100 a lot, and you really need the extra fan air. If it's only 80-something, you really don't need to do it. But once it gets to the 90s, it's a good idea to use a big old fan to help cool it off. Now, I mean, if it's a brand new car, you don't have to do that much. They got dual cooling fans. They work perfectly fine. But the older they get, the less efficient they are. Plus, I get hot as heck working on a car, so I'm running a big fan anyway, so I don't overheat. Casey Hill says I got a 2018 Nissan Altima. It won't crank. Good battery, full power, won't crank. Battery and key fob is new. What's going on? All right. Well, I hate those stupid keyless remotes, but realize you can pop the switch off, and there's a manual switch. Try that first. If that works, then you'll know the system is broken for the automatic key system, and you're going to have to go to a mechanic because you can't reprogram them. If yours is broken, you have to buy another one. Yeah, you can't do it. It has to be reprogrammed by a mechanic that's got a key reprogramming device. It's just how those things work. Now, you never know. Sometimes the batteries are weak. Try to jump start it and see if it'll start. Other things can do it. But if it doesn't do anything at all and it won't jump start and it's not the starter, it's probably the key. Now, starters go bad too. You can have somebody push it to start it and then get a long screwdriver and then whack the starter. And if it starts to turn over, that means the starter's weak and you need a new starter. Could be that simple. Car Shell 325 says, Scotty, I'm looking to buy a 2009 Pontiac Montana with a V6 engine, automatic tranny. The guy wants $5,600. Do you think I should buy it? No, not unless you're a masochist and you hate yourself. Those are piles of junk. Those Montanas are one of the worst vehicles ever made. I had customers with them. To a man and woman, they ended up hating the vehicle with a passion. Everything would break. The oil pans broke. The transmissions broke. They're pieces of junk. Do not buy that vehicle. It's a waste of money at any price. I wouldn't give $500 for that car. Carter Brunkhorst says, what do you think of BMW twin turbo straight six? Okay, they put out a lot of horsepower, over 300 horses. I worked on one the other day. Fun to drive, but when they get old, they're not fun to fix. The one I was working on, the turbos were going out. It was going to be over $6,000 to replace them and fix the car. The guy thought he got a great deal because he bought it used 3 years before from his brother. And he only paid $12,000 and his brother paid, north side of 40 for it, brand new. So his brother lost all amount of money. He thought, oh, what a deal. And then after a few years, he said, I guess it wasn't such a deal because he ended up peddling the stupid thing for $6,500. And that was lost almost half of his money. And he only had it for like 2.5 years. As they aged, they're into piles of junk. But when they're new, they're fun to drive. You really want one? Lease it. Don't buy it. Guy Garcia says, Scotty, you said KBB and Edmunds are not reliable. Where should I go to find out the best price for a car? Ask a mechanic like me who really knows the business. One who doesn't sell cars, but actually just fixes the car. The problem is that Kelly Blue Book and Edmunds, all those guys have been bought off by these giant corporations who some of their biggest businesses that they own are businesses that sell used cars. So, of course, they artificially inflate the value of used cars because they're trying to sell them to you. It's just a game. Or go to England. I went to England, man. They were cheap there because they don't believe in that crap. And they had beautiful used cars for $3,000 or $4,000. That in the United States, the book value would have been $12,000, $15,000 for the same freaking car. But it's just because it's made up because those guys own the company and they want to make it high because they're selling the other stuff. Never trust the price somebody gives who is selling the vehicle. They always think they're worth more than they are. Fonzo Faro says, what kind of oil do you use in your son's Tacoma? Well, I don't use any because I'm in Houston and he's in Nashville, so yeah, he just uses the Castrol. He likes Castrol. I always use Castrol. So he always uses Castrol. And all oils are excellent oils sold in the United States. I've just been using Castrol all my life, and it's sort of like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I keep using it. If I have a problem, I'll switch. I've never had a problem, so I probably will never switch. Postmates Kelt says, Scotty, what's a good car for a food delivery driver? One that gets the best gas mileage, get like a Toyota Corolla. If you don't mind hybrids, you could get a Toyota hybrid. You pay more, but you're going to get 55 miles a gallon in town. And if it's an actual business and you're serious about it, you can amortize the loss, write it off. A Prius or a Toyota Corolla hybrid that they just started making would be great. Or you just want a regular Toyota Corolla or a Honda Civic, they're great too. But they don't get 55 miles a gallon in town. The hybrids do. Jeffrey Burwell says, Scotty, I'm looking to buy a 2016 Honda Civic, but it has 24 service records at the dealer. Is this normal? Well, a lot of times it's normal because the dealers like selling things to people. They have tremendous overheads. They have millions of dollars a year overhead. You as a customer has to pay for the overhead, right? And they tend to oversell a lot of stuff that doesn't need to be done. See what the services are for. But if they were things like replacing air conditioning compressor, rebuilding engine, then don't buy it. But if it was just servicing stuff, they probably got oversold. I bought a Toyota Cresta for my wife one time, and a guy gave me all the service records, and man, the Toyota dealer was just raking his wife over the coals. They were an older couple in their 70s. They didn't know anything about cars, and they had spent like $5,000 on stuff that they could have probably had done for $500 over the years, and half of that probably didn't even need to be done. So if it's just normal stuff, they probably just overpaid. But find out what exactly it's for first. Spicy Hour Gaming says, Scotty, thoughts on a Pontiac Solstice? I'm a big fan of them. All right, they're cool looking cars, you know? Saturn Sky, same thing. The problem is they weren't built that right, and a lot of them had those little bitty four-cylinder engines, and they break down when they get 80, 90,000 miles, and the transmissions wear out from too much horsepower to a crappy little transmission. They look good, they're cute. If you get one cheap and keep it as a toy car, go ahead, but don't ever buy one as an everyday driver. It will nickel and dime you to death. Rick the Gal says, is an old Accord a good buy for $500? Any car's a good buy for $500 if it runs and shifts and doesn't overheat, especially if it's got air conditioning that still works. The old Accords are excellent vehicles, but any car, if it's more than 20 years old, you know, rubber's going to rot, oil's going to leak, things are going to break. That's just the way it is. But $500, that's not much for a car. And if it runs and shifts good, okay, go ahead and buy it and drive it. Who knows how long that thing's going to last? I've seen those things with 450,000 still had the original engine and tranny. Still ran fine, so what the heck? Shock City says, I think you need to move to Canada before you can tell people to buy 10-year-old cars. Well, I used to live in Canada. I went to York University in Toronto. I was born in Niagara Falls. But I came down to Texas. I was wise because guess what? The cars don't rust in Texas unless you're stupid and drive them in the ocean in the salt water or live right on the beach where the mist comes in and eats everything up. I moved down here for a reason. Yeah, cars rust up there. But then again, not like they used to. My mother lives in Niagara Falls. Got a 20-year-old Toyota Corolla. It doesn't rust. The reason they don't rust is because Toyota figured out how to electrostatically make the primer bond on with all the anti-rusting capability. So hers doesn't rust at all. It's 20 years old in Niagara Falls. So it's not as bad as it used to be. Some of the cars, though, like Fiat, still rust because they're cheaply made. So, yes, there are a lot of cars that will still rust. Not the good ones, though. Jerry Wolf says, how long would a Mustang last if driven conservatively, non-turbocharged? Last a long time if you drive conservatively. Most people don't. Now, a tax accountant recently bought a V6 Mustang. She loves it. She drives conservatively, and she doesn't put many miles in her car. It might be the last car she ever buys. She only drives like 3,000 miles a year, and drive it like that, they can last a really long time. And it's a smart move if you don't get a turbocharged one. If you don't get one with gasoline direct injection, just a plain old engine, they're made to go really fast. And if you only go 80 miles an hour, not 180 miles an hour, guess what? It can last forever. Drive at 180 miles an hour, guess what? It's not going to last forever. Tony Zapata says, Scotty, how do you remain so humble and not let fame get to you? We ought to see my wife. She doesn't agree with that at all. Well, one, I'm cheap, so I'm not going to waste my money on fancy cars. Why would I waste my money on fancy cars? Anytime I want a fancy car, I make a phone call, and the manufacturer sends it, and they hope that I use it in one of my videos. So that's problem solved. Then I got lots of customers with fancy cars I can drive around, and I'm easily bored. So you give me a car that's got 800 horsepower, it's fun for a day or two, then I'm bored with it. Which is a good thing, because you can kill people driving an 800 horsepower car in the street. You'll have a tendency of pushing it too far. You know, I mean, I've been married to the same woman for 42 years, so, you know, if you got a life that's going fine, don't rock the boat. You know, I read one thing, that one of the worst things that can ever happen to a person is winning the lottery. Almost all the people that win the lottery, some of them commit suicide. They end up losing all the money fast. And they said, I wish I would have never won that in the first place. Well, I didn't win the millions of dollars. I earned it over the course of 52 years. So I appreciate it. I'm not going to waste it on some stupid thing. RS Galaxy says, thoughts on a Ferrari Testarossa replica with a Camry V6 engine? Yes, fantastic idea. The looks of a Ferrari, yet the longevity of a Toyota. It's just like when I was a kid, they used to have all kinds of replica cars. They were replica cars, and then you found out they had a Volkswagen Beetle engine in them, which were very dependable. Not much horsepower, but they were very dependable engines. So you want something like that, go right ahead. It looks cool, but it's got a Toyota engine in it that's reliable. Why not, you know? Have fun just driving the thing around. Not having to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for it, for fixing it. Edmund Pascal says, Scotty, do you watch Old Top Gear, the Grand Tour? Oh, yeah, I love those three guys. They're kind of the same jib as I am. Older guys, they've been around the block 5,000 times, and they're intellectuals, too. Those guys aren't stupid. Don't think that, just because they're talking about cars, they're stupid. It's like, you remember the old Click and Clack show. Those guys are from Boston. I lived in Boston. Now, they made jokes about, do we cheat them and how is their lawyer, and laughing about cars and stuff. Both of those guys went to MIT. You know what MIT stands for? Massachusetts Institute of Technology, one of the best universities in the planet. They were very intelligent guys, but they made a lot of money joking about cars on the radio and on the newspapers, which nobody reads anymore, but I like the internet better. I think the internet's better. It's real interactivity. You can ask, I can respond. Diego Trillo says, Scotty, I'm having trouble finding my first car from an individual seller. All the good cars I find are owned by dealers. Yeah, because they snatch them up. What they do is they go around buying them for what you should pay for them, and then they double the price and try to sell you it for all that money. That's just how the world works. It's hard to find a good used car. Ask your friends, relatives, see if somebody joined the army, see if somebody got thrown in jail, see if an old person can't drive anymore, and they have to sell the car, and it might be old, and it might have low mileage, but it's an old car. You can still pick them up cheap. Try, because you'll never, ever get a good deal at any used car lot or any new car lot that's selling used cars too. They're pros. They know what they're doing. They make a lot of money. You want to try to find them from a private individual. Whatever you can do. Beg, borrow, or steal so you can find somebody who's selling one that isn't a dealer. Well, that's it for today. Remember, every day of the week I upload 2 videos on the Scotty Kilmer channel on YouTube, so subscribe. You'll never miss another one. And be sure to hit the notifications bell or you won't be notified. And I'm here every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, U.S., answering your questions on YouTube Live, and Saturdays at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time on YouTube Live, so I'll catch you then.